What's going on, everyone? Remember in that last video when I said the releases are slow? Be careful what you wish for, I guess, because stealth drops are coming in like crazy. And granted, I do want y'all's ideas after that, but when I was done making that video, this came out. Plus, I'm working on V Rising, and then I got a code for Indica and Dread Delusion. I will be busy. But for today, the question we ask, is Mad Mullet Jack worth the $20? Let's find out. My name's Tanner, and this is For Your Money, a different kind of monetary review that isn't a score of 1 to 10 because no one can ever relate with that. Humans and AI have merged into a new life form, a cyborg if you will. Now these new AI life forms have taken to controlling the world and gaining the complex title of robo-billionaires. These robots have taken the influencer princess hostage, and she has to be rescued. And who better to do that job than Mullet Mad Jack, a contender, somebody who lives their life only to killing these robos. The catch? You only have 10 seconds to live. How do you survive longer than that short period of time? Dopamine. Dopamine is what keeps you going and adds time to your life, no more than 10 seconds. This is the wackiest story I've ever been able to be a part of. It's creative, it's unique, and nobody can convince me otherwise. The key thing that I love about this story is how it plays well on the gameplay. You wanted an anxiety-inducing FPS where players can only live for 10 seconds without dopamine, so what do? You make it believable. Write out this world that just makes sense and brings us gamers pure adrenaline-fueled entertainment. This is the fastest paced game I've ever played. You only have 10 seconds to live, maybe 11 or 14 if you got the upgrades, but the base time you have is 10 seconds. And that timer constantly goes down, and the only way to fill it back up is to kill enemies. Different kills will add different amount of time. Shooting a robot can give you about 2 to 3 seconds, whereas picking up an object to do one of the brutal finishers, that's going to grant you a full time refill, or you can also find one of the many or only few soda machines in the level, and that's going to grant you a full refill of dopamine as well. The only time there's no countdown is during the boss fight, and that's perfect. You don't have enemies all around you, just the boss, so trying to maintain the dopamine to keep that timer up would be impossible. Now the passing of time is not going to be your only obstacle either. If an enemy hits you, that timer goes down. If you're struck by an environmental object such as my worst enemy, the fans, or the lasers, or perhaps the more occurring lava and acid floors, your timer goes down. So the goal, the anxiety, all the sweat comes when you run through these maps not knowing which corner the enemy might be in or where they're going to drop from. And you need that kill or you're going to die. And that's kind of a big deal. Once you breathe your last breath, you're going to start from the beginning of the chapter that you're on and lose all your upgrades for the most part. If you're on level 39 and you perish, you're going to be sent back to floor 30 and have another go at it. This game does have a progression system, so if you beat a chapter, you can unlock things like further weapon upgrades in the store, keep your last upgrade upon death, or have a reset button in the store. Now you pick one per beaten chapter and these can all be stacked, so if you fear losing an item that you got from the shop, go for keeping your last upgrade. Or if you want better weapons, go for the level 2 and 3 weapons. As for the arsenal, it's not sizable, but it has a decent enough variety to keep the game interesting. Each weapon is good at different things, and trust me, you're going to have your favorite and you're going to have a least favorite. My personal dislike is the swords. For me, it just hindered on the fast action with some of the enemies needing to be sliced twice, so I just tried my best not to get it, but some of y'all are going to prefer it. Now in the store, you're going to have 3 choices per level completed, or 6 if you have that upgrade to refresh the store. These items can be weapons, plus 1 second on your dopamine counter, so instead of 10 seconds, you can get a few more, but not a lot. An 80s-like voiceover for our silent protagonist, a double jump, lava or acid resistant boots. I mean, there is a decent amount of stuff in this shop that can change the game in your favor. But of course, sometimes the selection is absolute shit, so you're just going to have to pick something and hope for the better on the next go-round. Overall, this is an addicting kind of game. It's quick, it's fun. I loved every second that I spent blasting these robots into bits and jumping around the different obstacles thrown my way. It's not revolutionary by any means, and it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea. Even for an FPS lover, this could prove to be a little bit too fast, therefore you're not going to acknowledge it. This is the fastest FPS I've played, and honestly, I'm not sure what else falls into the category like this either, so I have no true comparison. But if you want a game that you can hop in and have instant gratification, This is something you gotta check out. And once you beat the campaign, head over to the endless mode to see how far you can get. Plus, do not skip the unboxing in the menu. There is a little something something in there for interacting with that feature, and you're gonna want it. The design, it's badass. I mean, it's an 80s inspired retro anime style. Reminds me of Kira or Heavy Metal with just a polish on the brighter colors. It's very unique style, and it does a good job playing on some of the story elements that I didn't mention, and it also helps bring that 80s vibe to life. Now, the only issue I had would be the level design. It's not a game killer or anything to really concern yourself with, but it is something that I want to mention. A lot of the levels do feel the same. After beating a chapter, they change up a little bit, but oftentimes you're going to notice a lot of recycled assets. Not a huge issue for me, but some people could view it as one, so I figured I would go ahead and mention it. Overall, $20 is a perfect price for this game. At first, I was a little bit worried. I thought the content was going to be too little, but as I progressed, I learned that this game is a bit lengthier than I first thought. About 3 hours, give or take, plus the endless mode gives you unlimited content. It's going to be a niche heavy game, like I said. Not everybody's going to like it, but I believe it's worth a check if this game even slightly sparks an interest with you. There we have it. The indie titles are ruling again. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you all again for my Indica review.